The QubicaAMF Bowling Promotion Cup has made its way to the IOC Olympic city of Lausanne in Switzerland. And we head to the bowling centre of Lausanne to continue this fantastic tournament. It's a doubles baker coming up today. Almost a self-handicapping tournament as the top seed is paired with the bottom seed and so on as we head through the draw. And Lausanne, the home now to many governing bodies and sporting federations, but the IOC principally occupies this particular part of Switzerland. So the Bowling Promotion Cup has made its way across Europe, and this is its latest venue. And tonight, Cass Edwards, we got some doubles bowling, always a bit of fun with the Baker system.
Yes, absolutely, Simon. Bowlers bowl every other frame, but we come straight into the first match and we hit it at frame 8 already. A match between Tony Regner and Matt Burge, John Lefebvre and Victor Krasavkin.
Yes, Matt Burge on home lane, as it were, the man from Switzerland, paired with Tony Regner, and then Lefebvre and the Russian, ever present at the Bowling Promotion Cup right from Tournament 1. Victor Krasavkin doing his bit for bowling over in Russia. It's been a major part of setting up the national team and coaching some of the new players coming through, but still plays a fair game himself.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight game. There's just 5 pins in it as we go into the foundation frame. And a big strike there from John Lefebvre sets them up for a big 10th frame.
Powerful shot there from Lefebvre. It's an interesting oil pattern, this one. You can go after it, Cass, but it won't necessarily stay exactly as the bowlers think it should for too long.
Simon, what we're playing on is 43 feet of oil down the lane, but it's called a flat condition. So it's exactly the same from gutter to gutter, right across the lane. Whereas under normal tournament conditions, you'd normally find a stacked amount of oil in the middle of the lane, so you can hold the line a bit longer. But this is flat right across, and when it's gone, they say. No coming back, you'll just have to change your line. This looks like it's going to be a big open frame with a split from Tony Regner in the 9th frame, and so they can go 185 if they can strike off. But Victor Krasavkin can go strike 3 times here for a 2-0-2 victory.
It's going to be tight. Krasavkin then, as he tends to do, falling off the shot, and that is not what he and Lefebvre needed to make it through to the next round against Ekofi and Knop. You can see the reaction from Krasavkin there. He knows that he's made things even tighter in this match.
It really needed a good shot there. First ball in the 10th, but it just right up high, went through the face of the 1 pin. Left 2 standing on the left-hand side, the 4 and the 7. He's made the spare, and a strike here will give them just a total of 182. So it's kind of set the bar, but it's not as high as it could have been. Gives their opponents a chance to strike out to win, or at least 2 strikes in the first 2 shots of the 10th.
Yes, next pairing in the ladder after Ekofi and Knop is Badone and Andreev, another Russian playing alongside the man that came up with the concept of this tournament. And there's Victor's response to that strike. Where was that one in the last frame when I needed it? That's bowling, Victor.
It's a funny old game. Again, he that characteristic falls off the shot to the right. Yeah, not a bad looking pocket. He carries all 10 for a score of 182. But now it's up to Matt Burge to shoot at least 2 strikes and 8 pins to win this one.
Wow, tough demand, but we like the look of this guy in week 1. Bowled very well in the team, although he didn't quite get the results. Got a pretty good style there. And as you can see on this flat cushion, or flat condition even, hooking up quite nicely in that back end. And he got that one spot on. So good start, needs another strike to follow, and then as Cass said, 8 pins after that.
Yeah, Matt finished 3rd in the single side of this whole tournament.
All the players playing for ranking points across the first set of venues and first set of competitions. And that'll all come to fruition when the top 5 go head-to-head in the championship finals. That's the next event up. It's all about the doubles today. And another very tidy looking shot. He's found his line. And Berge at the moment bringing this home for partner Renier.
Well, yes, he's certainly set up a victory here. Just got to keep the ball in the lane and hopefully take 8 pins with his last shot, which will be enough for victory. And that very nice looking strike there indeed.
So this to see Jonathan Lefebvre of France and Viktor Krasavkin of Russia out of this doubles challenge. And to take Tony Renier and this man, Matt Berge, through to meet his compatriot Xavier Coffey and the German former PBA player Peter Knott. 8 pins required. Oh, he's gone Brooklyn. He's found the strike. Slightly fortunate, but Berge and Renier are through, and they will take in a Coffey and Knott after the break. Stay with us. We're in Lausanne. It's doubles in the Baker format here at the QubicaAMF Bowling Promotion Cup. And we pick up the next round match with this man, Peter Knott, paired alongside Xavier Coffey of Switzerland. Frame 6 it is, and Peter enjoying that one. They've got Matt Berge of Switzerland and Tony Renier paired together against them in this one, with Bruno Bedone and Sergei Andreev waiting for them effectively in the semi-finals.
Well, it's strike for strike at the moment. Peter Knott shot a brilliant one to make 3 strikes in a row. They've got 5 out of frame 6 already. That Berge just here, a replay of his strike. Makes the 4th strike in the game. And both teams at the moment are on for 250 plus scores if they can keep going.
Yeah, Berge has found a very nice line at the moment. Here's the other Swiss player, though, playing for the other pair, Xavier Coffey, member of the winning red team a few weeks ago in that rather one-sided team affair, along with Holst, Andreev, Krasavkin and Lefebvre. But hey, you don't mind winning a one-sided match, do you? You can take the money and run. Absolutely,
yeah. It was so one-sided. It was fun to watch, shall we say. 3-6-10. Spare taken out by Xavier. Keeps the frames all closed. 5 strikes, 2 spares.
Yeah, decent stuff from the 31-year-old. So I'm a Xavier, you're a Xavier. You're a bit more X-Men.
Absolutely,
I see,
yeah.
Cass.
Yeah, the Z for me.
It's the R for Renier in this one. And the left-hander, he just seems to have struggled a little bit on the Promotion Cup this year. He was reasonably strong last year. Found a decent line in with that left hand, but he's been quite light in the pocket on pretty regular basis this season. But that's got him the mix of the pins that he needed.
Yeah, equal oiling pattern across the lane, so left and right-handers no real advantage. In fact, the left-hander is out there playing on his own. I think he's the only left-hander in the whole tournament. So the oil will disappear quicker on the right-hand side, making the lane hook a little bit more. Peter Knott shoots another strike. The 6th of the game. He takes him through the team through the 200 barrier.
Pete looking very good now. This man has definitely had a line into the pocket. It's made things look relatively straightforward as Matt Berge.
This will be 4 in a row for the team if he can make it, and he looks quite lined up.
Oh, yes.
That will do nicely. 4 strikes in a row, and a double previously with 2 spares.
Got that on a string, but that doesn't help his partner Renier because Tony's coming in from the left-hand side of the lane. Pair that play either side. But right side working very well at the moment for Berge. This is another close one though, this quarter-final.
It is at the moment. There's a couple of frames to go. Coming up now to the foundation frame.
So Coffey has quite a ponderous pre-shot routine. Won't be rushed.
Looking for a double.
Oh, he's unlucky.
Well, that was a bit unfortunate. If that ball had just turned up half a centimetre more, that 10-pin would have gone. Just went a little bit flat. That's when the 10-pin stands in the corner, so it can only be a spare after a strike, and it's the 9th frame. Which he takes away nicely. So the Coffey can go 3 strikes for 235 is their maximum score.
Lausanne, the Olympic capital city, as it's known, headquarters of the IOC, amongst other sports federations. Up steps Tony Renier then to try and keep this roll going. Berge with a strike last time out, and oh, just didn't quite get that messenger across. And if either man was going to miss, it was going to be Tony, I think.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. That would have made the 5th strike in a row, but he's left the 7-pin in the corner, which he really must spare. Just if he wants to give Matt a chance of finishing big.
Not sure Matt's too impressed in the background there. Oh, slides the 7 out.
Well, he is impressed with that one.
He enjoyed that one, didn't he? Yeah, trick shots.
Absolutely. Dear, oh dear. So it sets themselves up. They can go 248 if they can strike out. Pina Canop now. Well, there's the first one in the 10th. Great looking shot. Needs another 2 to go through the 230 barrier and set the bar at a reasonable level.
Well, Peter will know here all his experience. He's going to be the finisher for this pair, and if he can just put a bit of pressure on Berge, might be able to bring it home. This man who now bowls on the PBA 50s tour, the seniors tour, but has played as a PBA player. Now owner of 2 bowling shops in Berlin and Bremen, and a very well-known figure in German bowling, Cass.
Absolutely, so Simon. Yeah, of course, he, as you quite rightly say, has played the PBA tour, now on the seniors over 50s PBA 50. No titles, unfortunately, but it's just the thrill of going out there for most bowlers around the world. Just play on the PBA tour, enjoy yourself, and get known.
Yeah, one of a group of players that set the foundation for others from Europe to head out there, and we know what's happened to the likes of Mika Koivuniemi. Now, of course, Don Barrett following on, Stewie Williams.
Yeah, a few others from the continent. Martin Larsson, Thomas Larsson, Oscar Palermo.
Yes, mustn't forget Oscar. Won't be able to face him next time we see him.
Yeah, that's right. 2 strikes for Peter Canop. Strike here will give him 235 as the final maximum score, which is actually a pretty good game. Just 3 spares. It could be the 9th strike if he gets it. And that's a pretty good shot.
Well done.
Yeah, no, it's a good game of doubles, and I could be quite proud of that. Unfortunately, it may not be enough. See, the ball rolls up nicely right in between the 1 and the 3-pin there. Sets up the chain reaction in the back end of the pin deck, and those pins all go.
Decent turkey then for Canop to set 235, which does at least ask a question. But Mathieu Berg, well, he's owned this lane at the moment. Found a very, very nice line midway through that first game and hasn't left it. And that's the first reluctant pin that we've seen for a while from Matt.
He's got to make 20 pins in this last frame. Well, he's just made 10, and he's got another 2 shots to make another 10 pins. So striking the first. Go for 10 and makes it.
Oh, superb.
Well, that's going to be a winner. Takes it through the 240 barrier and it's all over. So it was a good high-scoring doubles match.
Yes, but Renier and Berge move on. They're going to meet the man that designed and runs this tournament, Bruno Bidoni, the Monaco, and he's paired with the man in the shades, Sergei Andreev of Russia. That's our next matchup against Renier and Burge. They make it through another round. Well done to them.
Eurosport Player is the Eurosport multi-screen service. With Eurosport Player, watch Eurosport and Eurosport 2 live on all your favourite devices through a single subscription. Follow great sporting events live and on demand. Enjoy exclusive content such as 7 tennis courts simultaneously. Eurosport Player. All sports, all emotions, all screens.
Welcome back to Lausanne in Switzerland. Sergei Andreev, the man with the blinkers on each side of his shades. Very unusual piece of equipment that he bowls in. Playing alongside the boss, I think we can call him, Bruno Bedone. There he is, the man from Monaco in the background. Very solid French tournament player, and has played such a huge quantity of tournaments in his career. But this really is the icing on the cake for Bruno to bring the QubicaAMF Bowling Promotion Cup across Europe and keep attracting these players each year. Not a particularly good opener from Sergei.
Well, it's a spare in frame 2. They're both spared in the first frame.
Slight shake of the head from Bruno there, just maybe feeling the pressure ahead of this semi-final. Mathieu Berge of Switzerland, bowling on home soil, making a good job of it. Knocked out his compatriot Kofi in the last round. But he and the left-hander, Tony Renier, were looking for a better start than that. And that, for the first time in this entire doubles stepladder final, is the first time we've seen Berge struggling for his line.
Yeah, big finish from this team at the last game. Scored 247, which was enough for victory. So they're kind of lined up on this pair lane. It's just a matter whether the oil may be moving around a little bit, affecting their shot. You see just the one pin in it after 2 frames.
Here's the man himself then, Bruno Bedone. Very classy stylist. When you see him up at the line, you'll realise that he pretty much learnt his bowling from watching reruns of the PBA many, many years ago. That was one of the factors that inspired him to push on in his career. Fell off that one a touch, but he'll take that right in the pocket.
Great looking shot, and ran it out as well. Yeah, quite a stylist, as you can see. Just falls off a shot slightly on that one, but he runs it out because he knows that's right in the pocket and carries all 10. Great looking shot for Bruno.
So, lefty. Renier. Well, cuts right across the head pin and ends up in the Brooklyn side. And gets a reasonable result from a poor shot there, and Tony knew that. He was way too far inside his line.
Yeah, just leaves the single pin standing, which should be hopefully a straightforward spare. And is. So it's a couple of spares. No open frames at the moment. So both teams getting lined up on this pair of lanes with the flat oil condition that I've mentioned. Goes down 43 feet, leaving 17 feet of back end to the head pin. That's where the ball hooks up and does all the work, as we say. Let's see if you can see the pins, of course, when you're wearing glasses like this.
It's an interesting setup. Bruno has shown Sergei the way to the pocket. And unfortunately, Andreev cannot find it at the moment today.
No, it leaves the 2 and the 8 pin. He looks quite shocked about that one. Tricky little spare. He's got to make sure he covers the back pin, the 8 pin.
Well, he doesn't want to let Bruno down, does he? There's that little bit of extra pressure playing alongside the organiser. And
If you say so. Simon,
yeah, well,
yes.
he need to put this one away, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be looking for victory in the doubles. On go the glasses. Not quite sure why he's got the blinkers on there, because there's nobody bowling next to him either side, so kind of defeats the point, really.
Needs to get to that sleeper, and he did. He just forgot the pin in front, and
Well,
there we go, open frame.
I did say cover the pin at the back, didn't I? But as you say, he forgot the 2 pin. So it's an open frame, the first one in frame 4 for the Bidoni-Andreev duo.
Now, when you get an open frame from your opponent, you have one objective in mind, that's to stamp all over it with a strike. And back on the right line there, and that is genuinely unlucky for Matt Birch.
That really was, and his partner can see the funny side of it. It was just a fraction high going through the 1-3 pin, and it drove straight through the 5, and it didn't deflect onto the 8 pin. It stood there solid as a rock, sometimes called a stone 8 pin in the trade. Very unfortunate, but it can only be a spare, and still just the 1 pin in it after 4 frames.
So Bruno needs to cover that open frame by his partner Andreev. Already had a strike, but of course when you're bowling Baker, whether it be team, doubles, triples, whatever it is, you're only as good as your partner's last shot. And that has gone straight through the head pin, I'm afraid, for Bruno.
Yeah, it's a nice rolling ball, but his radar needed to be slightly redirected there. Wasn't the greatest shot in the world, as you say, higher through the head pin. Leaves the 3 and the 10 on the right-hand side, which is a small split, but the ball will go between these 2 pins. You can also pick it up by hitting the 3 pin on the left-hand side and bouncing it across.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Wasn't quite sure whether he made his mind up to do that, but he has spared the shot. So at the halfway stage, Bidoni and Andreev all clean, but only 1 strike. So not all clean, sorry, 1 open frame and 1 strike.
Now, Tony Renier has been relatively tidy. He's just been struggling to really get to that pocket with any drive, and that he's put a bit into that one. That's more like it. I'd like to see him playing like that more, Cass.
Certainly put some aggression on it he snapped his wrist as that ball came off. Put a lot of rotation on it, playing wide from the left-hand side. Got the reaction in the back end and drove all the pins out. For just the 2nd strike for their team.
Because he's generally got a lower ball speed as Tony Renier than most of the other players. That needn't necessarily be an issue. Doesn't always get the revs on it either. Now, Sergei Andreev has been fishing around. Sent that one out a little wider. Still not coming back for him.
Yeah, no, he's a little bit lost. He moved way left on the approach and threw the ball right to hopefully open it up, give himself a bit more angle as the ball came back in, but it just didn't come back in. Got snagged up on some of the lane oil that is on the outside of the right-hand side of the lane there. And it just didn't come back, so he was a bit disappointed with that shot. It's a 9, so it should be a straightforward single pin spare for him. Well, takes it away nicely, but no doubles for his team, and the 1 open frame has reduced their scores right down.
Well, in golf, the senior players often talk about the younger players not having that extra dimension to their game to cope with certain conditions. And you can see from Sergei here, he's trying a few of the things that he knows. But I tell you what, if Walter Ray was here today, he'd be standing way right and chucking it straight in. Wouldn't be messing about too much, looking for that back end.
Well, the thing is, they are starting to search around a little bit now, because it may well be that the oil has either evaporated, moved around by the bowling balls. So maybe some of the players are not getting the same reaction that they're looking for, and so they will have to move and go searching for a drop of oil to hold that ball down the line. till it snaps up in the back end.
Bruno comes round again. Nice spare on the last visit, but wants the strikes, and he's got it. So essentially, Cass, this flat pattern, it's relatively easy to score on to start with, but it can get tricky.
Well, yes, you're quite right, Simon. Yeah, the oil is there to start with, depending on how many bowlers are playing left and or right. Once the oil's gone, it's gone. As I say, normally on the majority of tournament bowling conditions, you'll get a build-up or a crown of oil in the middle of the lane, which allows the players to bowl more games holding a particular line without having to move around too much.
Steps the lefty again.
Yeah, looking for 3 strikes in a row here, and makes it. Great looking shot. How about that from the left-hand side? It's high fives all round.
Just stick with it, Tony. Keep throwing it hard. That's an excellent effort.
Well, this could turn into a good game here. First turkey of the match. They've got 4 strikes and 3 spares.
Yeah, they're pacing very nicely, aren't they?
Yeah, looking quite strong as a doubles combination at the moment. Sergei Andreev coming up. He's struggled on his last shot. Bruno got a strike, so he's going to be looking for a double here, just to help his partner out. Again, you can see he's very close to that ball return. Left on the left side of the approach. Throwing it right, and it's staying right. Well, there's oil out there, Andreev, and you've got caught up in it. Misses the head pin on the right-hand side. Leaves the 1, 2, 4, 7. Only 6 pins.
You need some serious revs to play that line.
Well, one would suggest that a ball change will probably be more suitable for him. So we found out that there's oil on the right-hand side where he's just thrown. Now, if he's now going to throw up the middle at this spare, which he's really got to do, it may well be that the lane is dry there, and he'll find more hook than perhaps he wants. So he might have to up his speed a bit. Right, good-looking spare, but unfortunately not a strike.
It'll be interesting to see where Bruno puts his feet next time he stands up. Just pondering the situation at the moment is Bruno Bedoni. Well, we marvel each year, don't we, Cass, that he actually manages to play in this tournament, organises it, puts it together, promotes it, and then plays.
Yeah, you're quite right. It takes a lot of doing being a tournament manager, but coming back and playing in it and arranging sponsors and television and all sorts of other people. Great deal of work, and yeah, it's hats off to him, really. As McBird shoots another strike and goes 4 in a row.
Burge has been the pick. We were talking about Peter Connaught being the challenge to Phil Holst in the singles. But should Burge get through as one of the top 5, and this result might help him today. And I think he's going to be a challenger as well. And super stuff from Bruno. Just gets a wee bit of tournament organisers' luck there.
The wheel of fortune turns. How about this one? It's not a bad looking shot. Nice high backswing. Snap of the wrist. Lays it down 10th or 11th board. Just fraction high. Leaves the 4-pin standing, but it's a little love tap from behind, and away it goes for another strike. Looking for 5 strikes, right, and again he's snapped that wrist and he's hit the pocket again.
Wow, he's throwing this so much harder.
Well, this is becoming quite a good game. They had 247 on their first game. They have the potential to go 258 here if they can strike out, and that may well be too much. It will be too much for Bruno Bedoni and Sergei Andreev.
I'll tell you what, in doubles, that's a cracking score. If that's what they're going to get, 258, or close to that,
well, that's
marvellous.
Yeah, that's their maximum score, Simon, if they strike out. Yeah, doubles game is very good. I'd say followed up with 247, and looking strong for the final. Well, they'll meet Phil Holst and Max Lidelin.
Yeah, Max, the bottom seed, coming through from the first part of play on this year's Promotion Cup. Phil previous winner, top seed. That's why they're paired together, and well, Sergei's going to want to forget this doubles format for the moment. Hasn't worked for him.
No, struggling on this drying lane. Conditions are changing. And look, no glasses. How about that?
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's what it is. He's given up.
Rebel. He's a rebel, isn't he? 195. A disappointing game for Bruno and Sergei.
Yeah, he's gutted there. Just a quick apology to his skipper, and Bruno, sporting as ever, knows that some days it just isn't your day. It's been this man's day though. Berger's looked exceptionally good, and now he's taking Renier's partner with him.
Well, that's what doubles is all about, isn't it? Two guys get lined up together. Whoa!
Oh. Weeds the 7 out.
Shot that 7. Yeah, not a bad looking shot. It's actually a 6-pack as well. 6 strikes in a row for this team.
Well, that's exceptional. Can they strike this off the card then for the big score? Berger it is, once again the man to close the deal. Good stuff, another good strike there, one more for 258.
Was a great looking shot. Quite a smooth style that he's got. And you can see how much the ball hooked up. So there is a lot of dryness now down the back end of this lane. He too has moved inside, looking for some sort of reaction and getting it.
Well, all smiles, that wonderful time at the end of a game when you know you've won it. So this last ball, the victory lap, really.
Yeah, some players would do a trick shot perhaps when it's all over on their last ball.
Yeah, he's not too happy with this. A little experiment there just to see how it would perform a little wider. But Renier and Berger through to the final. Welcome back to the QubicaAMF Bowling Promotion Cup, the championship final of the Baker doubles. And the left-hander, Tony Renier, once again goes a little step back to the pace that he was throwing earlier on in this tournament. He changed it up in the mid-phase of the last match, the semi-final, against Bedone and Andreev. And it worked really well for him. And when you couple that with the fact that his partner, Matt Berge of Switzerland, is playing very well indeed, you've got a good pairing here. And that's going to make things tough for the #1 pair in this step-ladder final. Phil Holst in the yellow shirt, the top seed, drawn with the bottom seed after the first couple of tournaments. The man in the black shirt from France, Ladella,
who crosses the Brooklyn with a high-hooking, slow-moving ball. There's a single pin standing. It'll be interesting to see how this #1 pairing, who haven't played on this drying lane, find their line. See if they like the reaction they're getting.
Oh, it's not going to be easy, is it? As Max's first delivery proved, Phil a bit more powerful, so he might be able to muscle his way through. And the spare taken out. Lidl is the man under pressure, without any doubt, in this final, the man in the black shirt. This is uncharted territory for him. Late replacement to this tournament, and he's done well to come in. Held his own.
Yeah, I was going to say he was the reserve's reserve that was called on at the 9th hour, 11th hour to come in, and he did.
But what a great opportunity. And Berge just a little wider, very similar actually to the last ball that he threw in the semi-final match, which was an experimental shot. But the experiment didn't work then, so I'm surprised to see him repeating it there.
The thing is, Simon, the bowlers will be looking at one another's shot to find out who's got the best reaction and where they're throwing the ball. And if they think they can repeat that or go identical to it, then they'll certainly give it a shot and see what reaction they get. But at the moment, no strikes all round.
Phil Holst then, this is the man with genuine quality in terms of the European Bowls Tour. youngster from the Netherlands. He's got a big shot. He's a power player. And out of all the 4 athletes that are currently on the lane, this is the man that can rip it up if he gets it right.
Yes, won the singles tournament. So he's #1 seed. As such. Very high backswing, great speed.
Ooh, but didn't unfortunately make the pocket, straight through the headpin.
Did I say little or no direction? Well, as you say.
The radar's out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just gone gaga. So, get out the new sat nav. He's left the 467 split, which will be an open frame for sure. That's his spare ball out, but then you see he changed the thumb grip, the slug, or the insert from his strike ball to his spare ball.
Gave it a good go to get the pins across, but the angle not conducive to making any shot there. So has to settle for the open, and Holst will be annoyed with himself. That's rather let Renier and Berge off the hook. Allows them to almost restart their final here. Gets a handful, doesn't he, Tony? But he's gone back to that speed that it just wasn't working for him.
Yeah, that arm swing is not coming through quite quick enough, and he's snapping the wrist, but it's not getting the drive down the lane. He's putting rotation on the ball, so it's hooking, but it's not getting down the lane far enough before it hits a break point for him. He makes it spare nicely, but that's 3 spares in a row.
It's kind of a lazy snap, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he needs probably a bit of higher backswing and a bit more force bringing it through.
Right, let's take a look at this man's shot, Cass. Very different style.
My notes say no backswing, which you may well see here.
Wow.
Very little backswing.
Just almost slides it round his backside, but he does get a little bit on the ball.
Well, he gets to the pins while the ball is still rotating, which makes me think it's probably a harder surface ball on this drying lane, which is the thing to do, get something a little bit harder out so it gets more distance before the ball breaks up into the pocket.
But take a mental photograph at home while you're watching this one. Just take a look at this backswing. Now, when his partner, Phil Holst, gets up, compare where the ball of Le Dallin goes and where the ball of Holst eventually ends up.
We need a split screen profile, don't we?
Yes.
Of the 2 bowlers.
Yeah, you'll see Holst with the ball up somewhere around his ear holes. Whereas Maxime keeps it. Well, let's not go there.
Oh, and that was quite a good shot, actually. Nice, nice line out and in, opening up the angle. It was just a tad high on the 1 pin, so the 4 pin stands.
Well, something's clearly changed in terms of the condition. I know they've had to go over from the left to the right-hand lane, so that's the starter, I suppose. But Berge and Renier not looking as comfortable as they were in the previous 2 games, where they hit cracking scores.
247 and 254. So, yeah, very much lined up in the first 2 games.
But left side.
You would naturally assume that they're going to continue with that, but if the lane is changing, they're going to have to make the changes themselves in their own game. Now, whether they can actually do that or not, I'm not sure. But at the moment, they're struggling. They haven't hit a strike for 4 frames. Phil Holst back on. Again, it was high on the head pin. You can see how fast he's thrown his ball and the amount of rotation on it. It really is a powerful shot from quite a powerfully built young man.
But it's a little more than is required on this lane.
Averaged well over 200 to win the singles. So he obviously likes the lane condition, but as I say, this is the 3rd game now that has been played on this pair. So the oil has either evaporated, moved around, and some areas of lane it's disappeared. So 4 frames down and not a strike to be seen.
It's a dogfight in this doubles final. €750 a piece to the winners. Bruno puts quite a nice little prize money structure together for the Bowling Promotion Cup.
Yes, indeed. Not the highest paying tournament on the in Europe, but it's nice for these lesser known bowlers to come here and play on TV under tournament conditions.
Renier takes it out.
5th spare in a row for the Burge-Renier duo.
Come on, guys, we need a strike to really spark this final. Lederland, will it come from him? Not this time. Leaves the 10. It's quite awkward to watch, isn't it, the way he bowls?
Yes, it is. You can describe it quite easily, but you wouldn't want to go into it too much. He's got quite a few accessories, as you can see. He's got that wrist guard there, which helps him not bend his wrist as the ball is delivered.
But I think that lack of backswing is going to automatically put pressure on the wrist. I mean, that is what is driving the ball through.
Well, you could certainly see that spare ball just skid all the way, so it must have been a rock-hard surface. Otherwise, it would have hooked inside that 10-pin. So he's made his spare. Well, we're at the halfway stage. Both have bowled 5 frames, and we haven't got a strike in sight. So it's about time. And we still haven't got one because there's a 4-pin standing.
What a leave. Plays very similar to his strike shot there to cut up and knock down the 4-pin. Bit of trick shot stuff there from Matt.
Yeah, it gives it some width, allows the ball to hook back. Just about makes it, doesn't it? Just coaxing the ball right to left. Makes himself a spare. Phil Hulst, we need a strike in this game. We've had none so far.
See if Phil takes the pace off just a touch here.
Well, it'll be fine. The pace is fine. Rotation on his ball is fine. Just needs to get that direction. Hit the 1-3 pocket. Right speed, right rotation.
He's gone after it again. And this time gets it down. Gets the double kicker to get us a strike.
It was interesting, actually, because it hit the pocket, but it left the 5-pin standing, which is unusual because you need to knock that 5-pin over if you're going to get a strike, and we may not see it. Oh, here we go, replay, yeah. Watch the 5-pin stand up, and then it's sort of a double kiss and a messenger. There's the ball just about in the pocket. There's the 5-pin, and look at that. It gets hit both ways.
Interesting optical illusion that created. Looked like the pin was almost suspended in mid-air at one point.
Simon, it's the first strike of the match.
Goodness me, that was not on the cards.
Oh, and there's the second one. What's going on now? It's all kicking off now, isn't it?
I believe the phrase is game on.
2 strikes in a row, 1 for each side.
All right, come on now, guys, compose yourselves. Found the way to the pocket.
Yeah, it's man Max who's got to get up and try and make a double. Max Ledelin is the name.
Oh, and that is not what he was looking for, the big split.
Well, it was kind of in the pocket, and he's left at 7-10. Now, I'm just wondering what weight ball he's bowling with. Because a 16-pounder wouldn't normally leave that. So it could be 15-14 that he's throwing with, which could be a reason why the pin stood up like that. But it is the 7-10 split, will be an open frame.
A very open frame, I'm afraid. Just tripped out into the channel before he even got to the 10-pin.
Yes, unfortunately, the second open frame with only 1 strike in there. Score in the 7th frame moves on to a massive 110.
Well, that's killed them. So Halston Leatherley in trouble now, and this man, Burge, can put he and Renier on the way, but they can't find regular strikes.
What an unusual combination that is.
Oh,
and it takes
dear.
the 2 and the 8 pin out. Dear, oh dear. So it's an open frame for the opposition. Nobody seems to want to win this game, do they?
Well, no, just when you thought it was all over for Holst and Ledela, they're back in.
Yeah.
Holst needs a strike here, though. Needs to lay that foundation once again.
Yeah, he's got to be the lead man. He's got to set the strikes up. Unfortunately, leaves a 7 pin that time. Fraction light in the pocket, so he's followed the open frame with probably a spare. But as I say, it's this is the grand final, and unfortunately, it's not as grand as it should have been or could have been. There you see the thumb insert being transferred from the strike ball to the spare ball. All very technical stuff nowadays. Looking for a spare on this corner pin. Well, he's hit it, but the ball went in the channel.
It was already there, wasn't it?
It was already in the channel, so that's a 0 score, and it's a 9 miss, and it's the 3rd open frame, but 2 in a row for Phil Holst and Max de Leon.
Well, Tony Renier and Matt Burge need to keep it on the lane, keep it tidy. Even if it's spares, just keep crossing the boxes off.
Simon, I was going to say, you're exactly right. They can spare their way to victory here. The Holst-Dellin combination can strike out if they can for 179 is their maximum score. And look at this.
Oh, no. Well, what they do not need is an open frame.
Oh,
again.
My word. Simon, I think you better get up there and show them how it's done.
Dear mate. Well, Matt Burge has seen the funny side of it. I don't think there's anything else these guys can do. Phil Holst looking a touch embarrassed at the scoring here. But the other 3 guys have definitely seen that this is just one of those days.
Oh dear. That's the 3 and the 6 left there from Max Lidelin.
Yeah, needed that one to push, didn't he? And it didn't, I'm afraid.
Well, their maximum score drops down to 169 now if Phil Holst can strike out. But this is the match that no team seems to want to win.
Good spare, but yet another opportunity handed across to the opponents. And Phil Holst not looking too impressed at all. Sat in the background there in the yellow shirt.
Yeah, 11 pins adrift going into the foundation frame. Oh dear, no, that was pretty unfortunate. Solid 9 pin right in the pocket. Need to try and cover the 2 open frames that I had, but please make a spare. And he has done, so he's earned a bonus ball in the 10th frame. Maximum score 170, but that could well be enough, believe it or not, to take victory here. Strike for 170. Scores 9 in the on the last ball, and a score of 169. Well, that's set the bar, but it's not set really high enough under normal circumstances in a tournament. But one never knows. Phil Holst here certainly got to get the first strike to give him a chance of anything whatsoever. That's how close it is.
No, if you told Tony and Matt they were going to win a tournament with that score today, they'd have laughed at you. And Holst absolutely hammering that deck. He threw that very hard indeed. I suspect just a touch of frustration in that shot.
Well, there's the very high backswing and deep knee bend and follow through. Strike on the first ball gives them 139 in the 9th. If you can strike another 2 times, he'll have a 1-6 and we'll have a tie.
No.
Sorry
No,
to mention that.
Well, we haven't had a roll-off in the Bowling Promotion Cup this year, so why not today?
Didn't I tell you it was a whole game roll-off?
Oh, there we go then.
No, it's not. It's just a one ball. But he has to strike here to have a chance of making the tie. Otherwise, it's all over.
Oh, no, Messenger can't make it. 10-pin stands, and look at that, high fives between Renier and the man from Switzerland, Matt Berge, winning on home soil here in the doubles at the QubicaAMF Bowling Promotion Cup, and that's given Berge some decent points. Remember, all these points adding together so that we can get our top 5 bowlers to move through to the final singles event, and Berge will definitely be there, along with Holst, Andreev, Knott and Krasavkin. Well done, Renier and Berge win the doubles, and unlucky to Holst and Ledona just losing out and finishing runners-up, and Bruno Bedone and Sergei Andreev picking up that 3rd place. Peter Knott and Xavier Coffey not quite making it, but Peter doing enough anyway to make the singles. And 5th going to Lefebvre and Victor Krasavkin in the end. But that's our champion team. Well done to Lefebvre and Berge.